All right, welcome everyone. It's Ken here with Monterey Pro Strategies. This is going to be a recap of the last week of December of 2019, ending on Friday the 3rd. Started off Sunday night. Sunday night was a little disappointing, and I was afraid it was going to be kind of the action that we were going to see for the rest of the week. It wasn't, obviously, but Sunday night was very quiet. I really couldn't get any positions off. Ended up with a small loss. And of course, I only trade for 2 hours in the evening from 7 to 9, and then I call it a day. So I don't know. I think it was picking up later on in the evening. But I stop at 9 p.m. and then I'm pretty much done for the night. That's the thing about these binaries. And one big advantage you have trading my strategy is that the market tends to do very, very well percentage-wise. Trading in the evening, the market's a little bit different. All the news pretty much has been digested in the morning, so you do tend to have some bigger swings in the morning. Not that that's necessarily bad, but starting off, I think it can be difficult for some people. So if the only opportunity you have to trade is in the evenings, I think you have a big advantage there. So evenings are very good because the action tends to be a little bit smoother, and we tend to have some pretty nice little runs. And when momentum change, it tends to stay changed for a while, which makes hitting these trades a lot easier. But nonetheless, as you can see, overall, I still had a pretty good week. My first trade out of the gate, once again, is what I look at when I'm saying first trade, is I'm looking at the very first trade that I put on for every session. So in the morning, whatever my first trade is. In the evening, whatever my first trade is. I tend to do very well on my very first trade, which is why I tend to add more than a single contract on my very first trade. And even though I didn't hit it 100% or even 90%, still 71% is still pretty good. And that's kind of typically I'm going to be running between 80 to 100% on my very first trades. So my first trade ratio is really high, but nonetheless, still ended the week really nice. I'm expecting now, with everything going on in the news, we're going to see a lot more volatility. So I really don't know how that's going to play out next week. We'll just have to wait and see. But typically when you have high volatility like that, we can get some really nice runs. So we'll just have to wait and see. We're going to go into it with caution. And what I typically do is I start putting on my positions, and if I find that we're just out of phase, then I back off. But that's something I go through when you become a member. When you're in chat, I talk a lot about how to know whether the market's in phase or out of phase and so forth. That's a real important thing when it comes to trading, because you have to know if you're out of phase, you get out, and when it gets back in the phase, you get back in. And the nice thing about the phase and the way my setups work is that when they go in phase, they stay in phase. And when they go out of phase, they stay out of phase for a while. So that's real important to know, and a big advantage to trading these 5 minutes. The win rate this week, this is, of course, naked. This is just a naked win rate. Basically, what that means is what I trade right now during the day, I have a total of like 5 different patterns. I'm only trading a couple of those patterns. One of those patterns is PAP, and that's what you see right here. And this is the naked win rate. In other words, whenever you get a setup and it tells you to buy, you buy it, and or a sell, you sell it without taking anything else into consideration. So the percentages are very high just going with the naked setups. We can improve on these numbers by looking at other factors, which I teach in the chat room. But nonetheless, you're starting off with a big advantage. You're starting off with a very high percentage of being right about your trade. Okay? As you can see, the Aussie and the Euro and the Yen tend to be the strongest. The pound usually runs in this 60 percentile. I think it's just where it's at right now. I think this is eventually going to change, but this is pretty much where it's at. As far as the Aussie and the Euro and the pound, they usually run over 70%. As you can see, they're holding in there. So Aussie, Euro, Yen, still very, very good. That's where I make the majority of my money. In fact, I make really the majority of my money on the Aussie and the Euro. So those are my two of the pairs that I really focus a lot on. And of course, I will trade the yen as well, but the yen is can be quite erratic and not something a newbie would want to start off trading. Okay. In fact, I think if you're going to be trading short-term binaries, I always think it's best to trade just one, and that has a lot to do with the way that the market moves, and also how the market goes in and out of phase. So it's important just to trade one if you're starting off. Do not try to trade more than one, because the problem is that if you get hit on one, you may get hit on the other, and so you have two losses instead of just trading one, where you may have only had a single loss before you come up and hit another win again. So that's real important. Okay, as I mentioned in my last video, I'm now offering the daily live trades. I'm actually starting to trade these live myself. As I've mentioned in the past, I have never been an overnight trader, but only because I had one of my traders who's been using these patterns and these setups on the dailies and been doing quite well with them. I decided to take a look at it. I found them to do very well as well. So I put my money behind it, and the way I'm trading these, I'm going to trade every single one of the setups, and I'm going to put one contract on, and I'm going to take a look at it and just kind of see where I am at the end of the month. The difference between the 5 minutes and the dailies is it takes a lot more patience on the dailies. Okay, I like to end my day, with a profit. I like to end my day knowing that I've had a lot of opportunities, right, to hit my daily goal. It's totally different on the dailies. You can't look at it that way. You have to look at it on a monthly basis, right? So starting off, what happened on Friday, I had 2 losses and 1 win. What happened is, of course, that's when we had that strike against that Iranian commander, and everything turned against us, which, that's kind of unpredictable. I feel that had that not happened, I would have had at least 2 of these also being winners as well. But, that's the unpredictability about the market. Once again, you have to look at these dailies on a longer term time frame when you look at your results. As far as managing size, to be quite honest, I haven't really decided how I'm going to manage size on my dailies. My idea is just trade ones, and I like to see it be profitable just going on a one lot, but I won't know that until the end of the month. So anyway, my money's on the line, and we'll just trade in it live. We'll just see how it does. This is my live results, okay? This is obviously after commissions and everything else, so that's kind of where I am, and I'll continue to post those weekly. Now, for those that have purchased the program, the package, whenever you become a chat member, you automatically get these daily setups for free as long as you are a chat member. If you do not want to purchase the package, if you do not want to understand my setups and then see how I trade, you can just follow these my daily setups. It's $50 a month. It's no commitment. It's a month to month. If you want to just follow and see what I'm doing on my dailies, you have that option as well. I do highly suggest at some point you purchase the package, because following me does not do you any good. Seeing what I'm doing is not going to be beneficial to you as a trader. You need to understand how I'm trading and so forth. The thing is that I'm teaching you how I trade. I may not always be doing that, so it's good to understand what I'm doing, because if I decide to walk away from this and or retire, I'm not going to do it. I'm not planning on it, but if that happens, then you really have nothing except what you had prior, so you don't really know what I'm doing. I highly suggest you understand what I'm doing, and besides, when you understand what I'm doing, it will build confidence, and that's real important. You have to have confidence in the method and or the strategy you're trading. My strategies they make a lot, not only do they make a lot of sense, but they are based on how the markets truly move. And when you understand that will build confidence in trading the strategy. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, it's the best way and the only way to trade. That's my opinion. After 38 years, I haven't found a better way to do it, and I've looked at everything pretty much. I've seen it all. So this, I feel, is the best way to go when you're trading short-term and or even long-term. Okay? And that's explained in my videos. So nonetheless, that's where we're at. Once again, the short-term, which is kind of my forte. Great week. The dailies, too early to tell. We'll kind of have to wait and see what happens by the end of the month. If you want to get in on this, once again, just go to my website, binaryprostrategies.com. You can either purchase the package. Also, if you purchase the package now, you will get a free week of both the live chat room, where you can come in and trade with me, and also you get a free week on these daily setups. If you don't want to purchase the package, you can still just get the daily setups, okay? Understand that I'm just sharing what my daily setups are. I'm not explaining how the process works. That's explained in the package, okay? So you're just going to basically be getting my daily setups. You're going to know what the binary is. I'll tell you what the pattern is. These won't make sense unless you have the package. And everything is going to expire 3 p.m. the next day, whether it's a buy or sell and what the strike is. Okay, so by the time that you get it, let's say that I'm selling at 85.20. Let's say by the time you get it and it's up to, let's say, 85.30, you may want to take an 85.40. Okay, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but if you can give yourself a little bit more cushion and sell at 85.40 at a very decent premium, you can do that, or you can go ahead and just sell the 85.20 and get a better premium. That's up to you. No one way is the right way or the wrong way. It's just that's the way these work. Everything is based on the fact that my patterns are based on the fact that it's going to close below 85.20. So that's what I go with. So that's going to be it for this recap. Once again, any questions or comments, please leave them below. You can always get a hold of me via my website, binaryprostrategies.com. If you would like to keep up with my daily results, go to Pro Strategies on Instagram, and you'll get the my daily results as well. So that's it. I wish everybody have a great week, and we will see you at the next weekend recap, which is going to be next week. Take care.